that what made DSLR video famous in the first place. Why do you think there's still a demand people buying secondhand Arri camera that only shoots 1080p? But I thought about this, right? And I came up with like 5 steps. Hey, what's going on, guys? LJ here, and back again with another video. My last video was a year ago. I had no idea. Time just flies, you know? I thought that I would make more videos on this channel, but then I got other stuff going on, and time just flew by. Anyway, since this is a filmmaking channel, I brought you guys something new. I wanted to talk to you guys about S1H. Just got the S1H, actually. Wanted to talk to you guys about this camera, why I bought it in 2024, and the reasons to why I picked this up. First and foremost, S1H camera is a beast, right? It's pretty big, heavy, considering it's a hybrid camera. I also have a S5 Mark II right here. So comparing this is a lot heavier. And for me, I thought that I can manage heavy. You know, I thought that heavier, the bigger I work out, so I can handle it. But from the moment that I carried this camera, I had this feeling like, oh shoot, I don't think I'm not gonna be flexible with this camera, right? The thing is, when I do my filmmaking or when I create something with my own passion projects or whatever or not, I have the GH4 right here, right? And this is really small and really light. So what I'm able to do is I barely bring out the gimbal. I rarely add a lot of stuff here. So I can basically do a lot of stuff with just holding the lens and the record button. And I just use my body to kneel down, to go low. I just lay down onto the floor to get like the bottom shot. And this allowed me to get some creative shots within this certain time. But when this arrived in the mail, I'm like, I don't think I can do that anymore. So, I mean, it does everything that I need, right? For God's sake, I've been shooting with this camera over 12 years and I had no problem with it. Was able to still make great videos out of this 8-bit 4K camera. Cropped 4K camera. So coming from micro four thirds sensor and going into the full frame lineups, I just feel like it's a privilege. But I see a lot of people online these days where they still complain about the full frame. And you want more, right? You want more specs, you want, you know, and built-in ND, 422, 10-bit or whatnot. But for my case, 8-bit, you can still make great videos with 8-bit. And it allows you, for me, I think, that it's a great camera to practice on. And I think shooting Vlog and RAW only saves you in post. But if you fuck up your exposure, your lighting, what's the point, right? You're training yourself to become a better person on set, right? To become a better filmmaker. Then why not train your eye to light better, and to do so, 8-bit helps me to do that. So I think a lot of people skip this step and jump into full frame autofocus right away. That they kind of forget the basics of filmmaking. So with that said, for me, I think I just had a great experience with the GH4 and nothing more to say. And there are a few things that I look for in a camera, right? A lot of people these days, when they look for a camera, people like to look at the dynamic range. But I thought about this, right? And I came up with like 5 steps to figure out what are my priorities when choosing a camera. First, I think the sensor size is number 1. Me being able to shoot GH4, GH5 for a long time, micro four thirds camera, I was stuck with it, and I had no problems with it. I love the MFT. If I were to really just shoot video focused, I'll just stick with the micro four thirds. But then it came to my mind that what made DSLR video famous in the first place? What really was it that revolutionized the filmmaking industry? It was the shallow depth of field. Nothing else. It was that, mainly that reason. being able to have a video that look like the photos on a DSLR, a moving picture as a video. That was number one. Number two is low light. And I think 5D Mark II was able to push your ISO about 1600, 2500 with denoising your footage. And you weren't really able to do that with a camcorder, or back in the day, people adapted some sort of an adapter where they can get a shallow depth of field, right? But low light is something that is my second priority. And when low light is there, the third thing I look for is color science. Yes, I know you may think that the autofocus may come on third, but for me it's color science. I can still manually focus as long as these three are given. Mirrorless cameras, most of these days, full frames covers this number two, right? These two, full frame and low light. Now when it comes to choosing your brand of your camera, I think this is where the color science come in. And a lot of people may even say that you can match it in post, shoot a 18% gray card, or even use Cinematch to match all your footage. But there's something about in-camera colors that attracts consumers to go to that camera. I think Blackmagic also has their own character. Canon, of course, everybody loves it. Panasonic, Sony, not so well. But, Sony has other things that covers everything else. But like I said, this is my choices when it comes to choosing a camera. Fourth would be, what is it? In-body stabilization. I've noticed that switching from my GH4 to GH5 and above, Panasonic in-body stabilization really saves me a lot. Being able to just use my hands to give that handheld look, or even sometimes fake a gimbal or a tripod. I think this IBIS with Panasonic is a must. So in-body stabilization is a must for me as a fourth. Number five, codecs. And what I mean by codecs are things like 4K, 6K, open gate, 120 frames, 180 frames, or whatnot, 10-bit, 12-bit, RAW. Those come in at last in my point. The reason to that is because if you're uploading your stuff on YouTube, your so-called portfolio, your work, or you want to show it to your client using your iPhone or your iPad, I don't think the client's ever going to say this shot on 12-bit, 10-bit. Oh, the highlights roll-ups are so beautiful. Let's be honest, nobody really talks about that. So I think when it comes to that codecs, I think it's very saturated in my personal case. Because shooting with the GH4, I was still able to really impress a lot of people. As long as you get your exposure, your lighting, everything right, you can still make great stuff. So why do you need it? That's, like I said, it's my personal opinion. Of course, if you're shooting documentary, or if you're shooting in an industry where you need to deliver some files, whether that's Netflix approved or broadcast standard, you need those system. You need those codecs and system. But for me, I don't see the hype. Why, even when it comes to 4K, right? Why do you think there's still a demand? People buying secondhand Arri camera, first Arri Alexa camera, that only shoots 1080p. Because it really isn't about the file size or resolution. It's really about the camera's image and what you're able to do with that camera. So that's my humble opinion. And maybe built-in NDs and autofocus, I think these are just options that can be attached. But I think autofocus-wise, I think most camera companies are covered right now because even Panasonic has autofocus. So I don't think we need to talk about autofocus. Built-in NDs, there's a workaround for it. People can put on a matte box, screw-in filter or whatnot. But these other five things, these are the things that we have to work with. And with these five given things, I think you are able to pick your personal and best camera that works for you. So that's why I got the S1H, full frame, low light. It also has a great color science, no moire. And what was the fourth one? IBIS. It has great IBIS. And lastly, it has open gate and anamorphic recording that I need. To be honest with you, I could have gotten another S5 II or S5 IIX, but I felt like next year this S5 II lineups are gonna devaluate as soon as they announce a new camera. I hate to say this because I'm also an S5 II owner, but I think Panasonic will focus more on the S5 lineups than the S1H II. And I think there's a reason why they neglected this for over 6 years now, 5 years. I hope they make one, to be honest. I hope there will be an S1H II so I can pick it up and use this as my B cam. But people, I think as a consumer, we have to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And the worst scenario is not releasing S1H II. And I think with the S9 coming out, I think the Panasonic lineups are trying to focus more on niche markets, small compact cameras. So I'm trying to make this S1H, rig it up, probably get some rail systems, top handles, monitors for RAW. It's already a headache thinking of all the things that I have to work around with this. I'll try to update you guys along with it. So any of the S1H users out there, if there's any advice that you could provide me to getting this camera started, I'd be happy to take some advice. And I wanted to shout out a YouTuber called Ken. Not really, I forgot his last name, but he is a GH7 user and he makes a lot of content on the GH7. And I think he's the only guy who's really passionate about creating stuff on the GH7 right now. And I think a lot of people must provide him the attention that he needs and what he's trying to create. Because I really love the GH7, right? I was about to get the GH7, but then I got the S5 II. But shooting with Micro Four Thirds, if I were to just still shoot on Micro Four Thirds, I think GH7 is perfect. So I think there's like a hidden agreement where a lot of influencers of the filmmaking world just not talk about GH7. You know, it's just one of those cameras that people are just saying, that's perfect, but what if it's full frame, right? So shout outs to Ken. I hope he's working on a short film right now, I think. So I hope he makes a really good one. Anyways, that's it for today. I'll update you guys on my next video. And I'm trying to make this channel more productive than before, right? My last video was a year ago, which is just so ridiculous. But I'm trying to make more videos since I have the time now. Come back to the momentum that I did create before. Looking back into my old videos, my old review videos, I feel like, god damn, I had no idea what I was talking about, right? So yeah, try to make some more videos. I better stop talking right now. I don't think I can stop talking. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.